Her lips which whisper like reeds on the wind, wet with moisture, sprung from a well deep within, whispers like the petals of an iris, the reedy blossom which withers and is not trodden down for long. I'm going to pick this up with line 833, Felberg the Iris, or Moses Cleveland's Canterbury Tales, Book 3. The sky full of clouds, and with no proper shroud, they covered Jade then with her own bedroll. A cairn made of stone or Jade's pale frail bones, and off again into the meadow. Through brambles and briars and scrub that grew drier, the skidders replacing the skeeters. A dudgeon to dwindle as footfalls grew nimble, like game ill to imprecate beaters. What footfalls grew meek as the sun passed its peak, would weary but ever so tardy. Witless in haste and wordless distaste, torpidly engaged in toponymy. Awakened by call of heavy footfalls, what behemoth which lie underfoot. As big as a cart it lay in the dark, draining the richness from dirt. Like larval cicada, it lay now in wait to consume all of succulent fluid. When Orduith passed, it rose from the grass, spooking the mare as the archers then hid. She reared with affright, attaining full height, dismounting Armando, of course. It hacked at the beast, impaling her with ease, now drawing her blood from the source. Once proud solid bay in agony did bray, with the proboscis stuck clear through her heart. In vain did she strike at the monster's thick chitin, too hard for her shoed hoofs to mar. She struggled in fury, one last spasmic flurry, as her life poured forth in a flood. With one last shrill cry the warhorse did die, her corpse devoid completely of blood. Engrossed in its meal, the monster did lean lazily back on its four hind-end legs. They gazed on in fright as it sucked with some might, no pardon of which for to beg. What blows which were landed with reckless abandon, as none present were to venture too close. What fool was to query with fine-edged steel inquiry of chitin impregnable to most. They slashed and they hacked and bludgeoned and whacked, barely denting its chitinous shell. Catania cleaved true, its abdomen near to, as Fred went for its soft underbelly. Its abdomen pierced, the blood flowed forth fierce, covering Fred in red nigh head to toe. What sickly embrace beneath fractured carapace, all heart was this bay, don't you know? Its meal now depleted, the monster did rear, it lashing and flailing in a frenzy. Blind angst revealed, it whirled and it reeled. Alas, for life it had nothing but envy. On abdominal halves it finally collapsed. Sensitive yet, it best not to be touched. Dead not quite yet, and with no blood to let. Approached, it could still flail amuck. Lingering still, mellifluent spill, twitching like a maladroit majorette. Eyes blackened with hate upon unforeseen fate, one more horse to be one lasting regret. What plitherous ply to be harried for time, what questions of incidental happenstance. To hear and to see, wide open it be, were observers near hither by chance. Best we get moving to fates of our choosing, no purpose really in sticking round here. Quiet now, please, proceed through the trees, for further frolics foul are engendered. Of losses to note and shares to forego, of moiety and two Xanthus archers. Armando's warhorse, fallen with remorse, a paladin struck down for to march. Let us not tarry, he's too big to carry, we'll cremate the other two later. Wrap them with furs on the back of the burrows. Ignore them, their vociferous nature. Of customs to keep, time for to weep, will be somewhere farther away from here. What regrettable loss to be bound with the floss, in terms habitual for to endear. The wood in the distance promised fuel for the listless, still rattled should night not bring slumber. Of dire circumstances, suggesting no chances, the trees of the wood but seem to lumber. And I'll stop right there. That's line 874. Yeah, my first real kiss At least I think so. Like I said, for all I know, somebody could have, slipped her a $20 bill to do that, or it might have even been a dare. But it was pretty real to me, though. And like I said, I'm only liable for my own behavior, and I can't speak for other people. So, like I said, in regards to my muse, that's where it's coming from with me. Oddly, too, the circumstances surrounding, that particular encounter, that had a lot to do with, from what I gather, just from reading on the Wikipedia page, was her first assignment after she finished training. And it's something that I still can't talk about. But, there's a lot going on there. It's like, just layers and layers and layers of things. But, there's, like I said, that's something I can't talk about. But, it's just funny how it, it is a small world, but how things fit together, and how, how fate tends to intertwine, and, it's, I'll get into this more later, but it's just funny how, things are that way, and how things happen for a reason, and sometimes, even when everything seems wrong, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to, have faith and stick with your oath and try to carry on, and it's a hard thing to do when you're not party to the whole situation. And, it's like I said, everybody, nobody's perfect, and everybody makes mistakes, and it's the bad guy's job to get you to jump the gun and to, basically act on assumptions, and like I said, when they're the ones feeding you the false assumptions, it's one thing you have to keep on your toes about. But, like I said, I'll go into more of this later, but mostly I'm going to stick with the poem, because there's a lot in there. And like I said, if you get something out of it, that's why I'm doing it. It's about inspiration. It's about my inspiration and sharing, trying to share that with other people. So, like I said, if you feel inspired, then my job is done. But, have a good night. Thanks for listening.